Quake is one of the founding fathers of the online first-person shooters, and even despite its legendary status, the franchise has been largely dormant for quite some time. Of course, Quake Champions is still active, and we did receive the remastered versions of both Quake 1 and 2 in the recent years, but no new games have been on the horizon since 2017. This, however, could change very soon, as the rumors of a new entry being in the works has been going around for a while. And even despite the fact that most of it has been pure speculation up until this point, we recently got a little tease from Bethesda regarding a brand new Quake experience. During the recent reveal of MachineGames' Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, which is shaping up to be a great game in its own right, a brief look at the whiteboard inside of the studio has revealed a surprising reference to Quake sitting right there in the corner of the screen. There are two things about it that are immediately worth taking note of. First is the name of the project itself, which appears to be codenamed Quake 6, meaning that the Champions game developed by Saber Interactive is likely to be officially considered a fifth main installment in the franchise. And second is that this quiet tease came through the footage located at MachineGames' studio rather than id Software. Now, even though we don't know anything specific about this project yet, the fact that MachineGames could in fact be working on the next Quake game, or at a very least have a large involvement in its development, is not entirely surprising. It is a long and well-known fact that many developers there are huge fans of Quake, as they have created an unofficial expansion for Quake 1 called Dimension of the Past all the way back in 2016, which then was officially adapted into the Enhanced Edition 5 years later. Aside from that, they are also the studio behind the Dimension of the Machine, which was another extra episode developed for the 25th anniversary of Quake 1 and released as the part of the remastered version of the game, as well as Call of the Machine, which is another bonus episode made for the Enhanced Edition of Quake 2. In terms of pure speculation, it is conceivable that their involvement in aiding Night Dive with these remastered versions of the classic games could have been a trial run for a full-fledged reboot of the franchise, as it could share a similar fate to Wolfenstein and Doom, which achieved remarkable success with their respective reboots. This of course brings the question, when could we see the official announcement and potential release of such game? Considering that MachineGames have been largely occupied with the Indiana Jones and the Great Circle for the past 3 years, it is likely that no other major games were in full development at the time, but it doesn't mean that potential Quake 6 couldn't have entered pre-production stage in the recent months. It is also very likely that MachineGames is going to co-develop such project alongside id Software, as combining their experience with world building and storytelling paired with id Software's experience in creating addictive gameplay could result in potentially the best Quake game yet. As to what the game might be about, well, the continuation of the strong story of Quake 2 and Quake 4 are not unlikely. Considering that most of MachineGames' experience comes from Quake 1, it could mean that the reboot might potentially go back to franchise's roots, focusing on the themes of eldritch horror. Going in this direction would be advantageous for a number of reasons, first of which is the fact that a solid portion of the fanbase has been longing for Quake to revisit its original art style, as the Lovecraftian design and style felt more unique and compelling than the sci-fi theme of the later games. Another reason is the opportunity to bring new generation of players into the franchise, who may not have had previous experience with the strong storyline, as rebooting the plot and switching back to the original theme of the game would wipe the slate clean and encourage newcomers to give the franchise a go. Finally, revisiting and remaking of the gothic style of Quake 1 would allow for more interesting variety of monsters and locations, from the usual tech-based environments to castles, dungeons, caves and otherworldly structures, as well as potentially brand new areas never before seen in a Quake game beforehand. As for the gameplay itself, it is safe to assume it would resemble the old Quake games, but the recent id Software games could also give us an idea of how it might play. Doom Eternal in particular has a lot of Quake's DNA in its gameplay design, which might serve as a baseline for how the gameplay loop of the new Quake could look like. Of course, all of this is just speculation, and we are yet to hear any official announcements from Bethesda, but with the teasers shown during the latest developer direct, the reveal of a new Quake game is now more tangible than ever, and all that is left for us to do is to simply await the official word from the developers.